Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Season 2, Episode number 33 of Be With Me. Once again, we're in for a treat this morning. What a touching passage that we're going to experience from Luke chapter 18 about a blind beggar. We find out his name from another gospel. The guy's name is Bartimaeus. And there's so much to admire in the story. And when we finish, we'll list all the things that we admire from this guy, Bartimaeus. Let me read the story and then we'll discuss it together. It's so touching. This is Luke 18, verse 35. As he drew near to Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the roadside. And hearing a crowd going by, he inquired what this meant. They told him, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And he cried out, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Those who were in front of him rebuked him, telling him to be silent. But he cried out all the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stopped and commanded him to be brought to him. And when he came near, he asked him, What do you want me to do for you? He said, Lord, let me recover my sight. And Jesus said to him, Recover your sight. Your faith has made you well. And immediately he recovered his sight and followed him, glorifying God. And all the people, when they saw it, gave praise to God. This is a passage that has corollaries both in Matthew and Mark. It's from the Mark passage that we find out that this guy's name was Bartimaeus. Of note, the location of this is Jericho. Now that's 18 miles from Jerusalem. Jesus is on a one-way trip to Jerusalem. And on Jesus's iWatch, there's an actual counting of steps. The number of steps that Jesus has left is relatively finite. So that's interesting. So the blind man doesn't know what's going on. He asks, and they say, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. And then this is interesting what he cries out. He says, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. And I want to just comment on, first he uses Jesus' name. Second, he uses son of David. Now, David, he's demonstrating three things, I think. He understands the office of David, that it was promised that a son of David would occupy the throne of David forever. So the Messiah is doing that now, even in heaven. So perhaps this guy understood that concept, that Jesus was the fulfillment of the filling of that office. And then he understands the heritage, because David has to come from the tribe of, or David came from the tribe of Judah, and Jesus, this is actually an appeal to the family line, because Jesus comes from David as well. And then finally, David has a great heart. What's admired in David? He wasn't a perfect person, obviously, but was his heart. And in Acts 13, it says, it's a man after my own heart. And that's, so David is full of a good heart. So what's the heart of the Lord? It's the Matthew passage that tells us that it's full of pity. It's that Greek word splanchnizomai that I've mispronounced for you in the past. It's that Jesus has this deep compassion. That is, if we cut him in half, and in his, what do we find at his core, in his viscera, in his bowels, in his guts, and it would be compassion. It's pronounced over and over in the Gospels. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them. When he saw her, he had compassion on her. So Jesus, only 18 miles from Jerusalem, his final destination, considers the marginalized and this blind person. So I think in his appeal here, he understands that it's not an exact replica of David's heart, but it is a good heart, that Jesus has this good guts, these good bowels of mercy. And he says, you're right. The other thing that's admirable about this guy is the repeatedness of his call. They say to him, after he calls out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on him, they say, be quiet, rebuking him, telling him to be silent. And he cries out all the more. So he's on the Jeopardy show, and he says, I'll take the mercy of Jesus for 1,000. And then he doubles down in double jeopardy. I'll take the mercy of Jesus for 2,000. He knows this is the category he wants, if you will. So it's a great story. Verse 41 comes to the conclusion. Jesus said to him, what do you want me to do for you? Lord, let me recover my sight. And Jesus says to him, our English translate a single Greek word, which is see, into 3 words, as recover your sight. I like the snappiness of see better. And he recovers his sight. Jesus pronounced him as a faithful person. Your faith has made you well. And then finally, we see evidence of this faith because he follows him. And then he gets friends, and all the people, when they saw it, they gave praise to God. So he gets this fellowship started. So in conclusion, we find out, we take heart that Jesus is calling this blind man. That's awesome. He asks for mercy, so he appeals to the very core of Jesus. He understands what's inside of Jesus. He understands the Savior in a special way. And he appeals to this, and it's what Jesus is all about. Then he appeals to him as David's heritage, David's office, and probably David's good heart. And then we admire this guy's persistence. When he is rebuked, he sticks to it. So he has persistence, he has knowledge, and he has trust. And may we similarly have all those things with Bartimaeus today. Thanks for listening.